friends, welcome back to my channel. This week's video is going to be a reading vlog, but it is going to be an exciting reading vlog because I am officially starting my read of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, this chunker of a book. As soon as I pulled it up, it was like, oh, it's going to take you 26 hours to read. It's 1,100 pages. I'm a wee bit nervous. This is my first ever like epic fantasy book, and I have absolutely no idea what it's about. So we're going to just roll with the punches. So I'm going to try to do a spoiler section at the end. Sabrina from the future jumping in just to tell you guys this vlog is 100% a spoiler vlog. In the beginning, probably the first 30%, I try to keep it spoiler free, but this video does end up spoiling the entirety of The Way of Kings. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. That's as someone who's never read an epic fantasy book before. So I'm very excited. I've been like hyping myself up by watching a bunch of like Instagram reels, YouTube reviews, even on Goodreads. Like the reviews are insane. I'll pop up the little screenshot here, but I think it's like at a 4.66 stars, which is crazy. And the 5th book in the series just released, I think yesterday. So it's been like all over my Instagram page. So I am very, very excited. But I just wanted to start the vlog because I was just about to sit down and start reading for the morning, but I just wanted to do the little intro clip. So I will touch base with you guys when I'm a little bit away into this and I know a little bit about the book and give you guys my initial thoughts. Guys, so I just want to do a quick update. So I went to Costco, me, Victor, my dad, and my stepmom went to Costco, and I was eyeing this digital kettle because I've been wanting one for a while because I make tea, not every night, but I would say at least a couple times a night, especially in the winter. Me and my aunt love a good cup of tea, or if either one of us gets sick, we drink a lot of tea. So I saw this and my dad was like, oh, just put it in the car, I'll get it for you. And I was like, sold. So it's the, Sur La Table digital kettle with an infuser, which is really cool. So this is what the kettle itself looks like. So it has the cups over here, and then it has the filter inside. So you just press the lid, and you can put like loose leaf tea in here, which is really cool. I don't drink a lot of loose leaf tea. I only have tea bags, but we can get some loose leaf tea to try it. So that's really cool. This is my aunt. She's off camera here. So I got this tea from Dom. It's in a bag. I have no idea what kind it is. Or we have our black tea. Or we have all the like the fruit flavored teas that we bought. So I don't know what you want.
What do you want?
I mean, I'm going to have this tea.
All right, we'll want to make a pot of that stuff.
Okay.
We'll both drink it.
So you think that I should cut open the bags and put the loose leaf in the thing, or should I just
drop the tea bag in
with the paper?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you're gonna drop it right in that center thing, right?
Yeah. All right. So we're doing this tea. My friend, you guys know Dom, but I have no idea what kind of tea this is. So we're just I'm gonna drop them in the little thingy here. Can I take this? Oh yeah, I think I can just. Oh, we're just gonna shove it in here.
Oh, you can get it out afterwards.
Because I'm going to leave the string out.
All right.
How many bags should we do? We think, I don't know. We'll do 3 bags. Okay. I've had this tea before. It's really good. It's like, has like a really sweet flavor, but also like, this just looks inappropriate. But like, I don't know what, like it's just really, really good. So, all right. So I'm going to fill this up. Max water is 60 ounces, and we aren't going to drink that much. So I think I'll fill it up to maybe the 5 here. So we've got our water. Now I'm going to throw this bad boy in there. Let me flip you guys around. Okay, so we're going to put this in. Oh, it goes the other way. Okay. Oops. All right. Close it up. So then this is the base. It's plugged into the wall. So it lights up. Whoa. So in the quick start guide, it says Red means it's heating. White means it's active. Green means that it's done heating, but it's in warm mode. So then up here, wow, that's blinking for you guys. But up here is like how you set it. I think you can start, but yeah, you just hit the plus or minus. So because it's an herbal tea, this thing has like a cool little, like a little guide. So because it's herbal, you want it to have it at 212. So it's at 212 now. So I'm gonna hit start. And it's red, which means it's heating. It's currently at 105, so it's gonna start heating up, and I'm super excited. So I'll check back with you guys when it's green and we are good to pour. All right, guys, so our tea is done. It's warming and I've let it steep for a few minutes. So now I'm going to pour up some mugs and you're going to see how this stuff tastes. I'm going to put a little bit of honey in mine. Auntie usually likes coconut sugar, so I'll see what she wants, if she wants coconut sugar or if she wants honey. And then she said she wants honey. So we'll do a little bit of honey in each and I'll pour these up. All right, so we've got this honey. We got it from, I think Victor got it from the Biggie. It is Champlain Valley Apiaries crystallized honey. I have no idea. It's really good. So that pretty much made 2 cups of tea. So I have it unplugged now so that it can cool down. And I'm just going to mix in our honey and then we'll do a little taste test. What I like about the digital kettle is that it gets to the temperature it's supposed to be at. Because I feel like with honey, you have to be very, or not with honey, with tea, you have to be very specific. We went to this tea place in our state. And they are so specific about like how long they let things steep for, the ideal temperature. So it's hot. I don't know where that spoon came from.
I brought it over for the tea.
Oh. All right, here we go.
I thought we might like to stir it.
I did stir them. You're gonna keep stirring? It's hot.
Oh my God, that's what you got for me.
Yeah, it was at like 200 degrees, man.
I think I'm gonna drink that.
Oh my God, that's so hot. It's like burning my lip. You guys can like see the steam. I really want to try. I'm afraid I'm gonna burn my mouth. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my spoon. And I'll just take like a little taste out of the spoon. Oh, that's good. You might want yours a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, really like the kettle so far. I'll keep you guys updated if I still keep liking it or not. But win so far on that one. Nice, easy way to make tea. Get it to the right temperature and let it steep. Very, very good. So anyways, I will catch you guys later. Hey friends. So I just want to do a quick update. So I am barely into this book. I am 34 pages in, which is 3%. So like nothing. I haven't been reading too much, to be honest. I've been falling into doom scrolling on Facebook and Instagram. So that's what I've been doing. I've been following, I don't know if anybody else has seen these videos, but they're called the Facebook and Instagram page is called Josh and Mama, I think is what it's called. But those two are hilarious. The recipes she makes are questionable, but the two of them together are funny. So I like scroll and I just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And I just watch a bunch of their videos. So that's what's been happening this weekend. So it is Sunday. It's now almost 3 p.m. And I started this, I think yesterday morning. And yeah, I'm only like 34 pages in. But I did want to say, I am really enjoying the writing style. It is so much easier to understand than I initially thought. I honestly thought that it was going to be like just the writing was going to be so complex that like I just couldn't handle it. Like when you read like a classic novel, like Pride and Prejudice, stuff like that, like the writing sometimes for me, like I just have a hard time grasping it. And I thought it was gonna be the same thing for this because it's such like an epic fantasy, but no, like I'm understanding everything. We just got to, like I said, I'm literally on chapter 1. So we read the prelude and the prologue. The prologue was really interesting. I like even like just there was like this one part that happened right in the beginning that I just was like so shocked by that I was like, wow, we're already off to a lovely start. Because the first part is about, so it starts 4,500 years from present day and then goes to, I think, then it goes like in the future, and then you're dealing with an assassin who's hired to kill the king. And then that's the prologue. And then the chapter 1 starts 5 years after the killing of the king happens. So, and I'm assuming that the battle that they're in right now is because of the killing of the king, from what it seems like. So overall, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would, honestly. I just wanted to pop in and just say, we just met Kaladin, who is one of the main characters. We're on part 1, and all I'm getting so far is that Kaladin is a squad leader for his squad in the army, and they're currently in the middle of a battle. I truly thought I was going to be lost, dazed, and confused, and not understand, like, the writing. Like, the writing was what I was nervous about. Like, I can handle world building and, like, not understanding, like, necessarily, like, what's going on in the grand scheme of things. But when it comes to, like, the writing, like, I need to be able to understand the words that are written on the page. I will touch base with you guys later. Friends, so I wanted to film a quick update, but I also wanted to make some tea for the evening. So while I'm doing that, I figured I would just do a little check-in. So first things first, we're gonna fill this up with some water, and I am having such a great time. I honestly did not think I would be enjoying myself as much as I am. By the way, we're having peppermint black tea, which I love this stuff. It is so good. So I'm going to put it in the little infuser thing. But yeah, I'm having such a fun time. I just hit part 2, page 192, and I'm very excited. So part 1 followed Kaladin and Shallan, and then there were interludes, which followed a few different characters, and then, which I'm sure will obviously get kind of added into the story somehow. And then now part 2 follows a couple of different characters. Kaladin is one of them, and then Dalinar and Adolin, which I've not heard of Dalinar or Adolin, so those are going to be 2 new point of views. And it doesn't seem like we're going to get Shallan's point of view. But overall, I am having the best time enjoying this book so much more than I thought I would. So far, the story that I'm gathering is you're following Kaladin, who was a squad leader for his squad in the military, and then you find out that something ends up happening to him. We don't know exactly what, but now his circumstances have completely changed So you're kind of following his journey with what he's going through. And then in the other point of view, you're following Shallan, and Shallan is a brightness, which is essentially, from what I'm gathering, like a princess type dealio, essentially nobility. And she's trying to be a ward for another brightness. So a ward, what I'm gathering, is pretty much you're just trying to learn from the person who knows more than you. So brightness, I think her name's Jasna, is who she's trying to be a ward for. But you find out pretty quickly why she's trying to be a ward for her, which ends up being kind of really interesting. And you're learning a lot about like Shallan's kingdom, things that are going on, things that she's hiding from the world in order to kind of protect her family. So there's a lot of secrets to unravel there, and a lot of fallout could happen if those secrets kind of become known to the world. So that's kind of what's happening. I'm gonna go sit down and have my tea now, and I will check you guys in another clip when I'm a little bit further into the book. Hello friends. So I wanted to film another check-in before I got too much farther. Not like I'm making a huge dent in this book because this book is so long, but I am currently 306 pages in. I just hit the 27% mark. And you guys, I am loving this book. I truly did not think I was going to enjoy this book anywhere near as much as I am. Like, I am so invested in each point of view, in each character in the point of view. So like I said in my last clip, we're on part 2 now, and we've gotten 2 more POVs. We've gotten Dalinar and Adolin. So Adolin is Dalinar's son, and Dalinar is the king's uncle, because his brother was the king, and then something happened to his brother in the prologue, as we all know. And then now his son took over, and so Dalinar is pretty much his part of his guard. He like runs his military, and he's a shard bearer. And his son Adolin is also a shard bearer. And then Adolin has a brother, Rhaenyran, and there's like other pieces of the military. Sadeas is King Echoar's pretty much second man. Like, it goes like Dalinar and Sadeas are kind of like, they're both high princes. So that's how it works. Like, there's the king, and then there's 10 high princes of Alethkar, which is their like their world, or their country, or something, I guess. So King Elhokar, and then you have the 10 high princes, and then they each have they have their kids, which are like bright lords and bright ladies and like brightnesses and all that stuff, which is how Shalar, I'm assuming, is a brightness, because her father must be a high prince. So I'm assuming that's how it's all gonna connect. But anyways, I am obsessed with Kaladin. I love him. We've gotten some of his backstory too, from when he was a child, and just like learning where he came from and the complete different trajectory his life was supposed to take to like where he is now is insane to me. Like, when he was growing up, originally he was supposed to be a surgeon. Like, that's what his dad wanted him to do. But then, he has this like friend that I forget her name. But it's a young woman. She hasn't reached maturity yet. They're both still young. And she has always said to him, he's always said to her that someday he would love to be in the army and be in the military. But like, his dad is like very, I'm going to send you to the best medical school because you are extremely brilliant and smart and you would make a fantastic surgeon. And so eventually he just kind of like is like, okay. But his friend, I really forget her name, but she is a Light Eyes, and she's like very much wanting him to go into the military, because if you go into the military and you get a shard blade, you turn into a light eyes, and then light eyes can pair off and get married. So I'm assuming that's why she wants him to be a light eyes, but I don't really know. But anyways, so I'm like just loving the backstory. I'm loving the Windspren Syl, how she has just like completely become a character in this book. Like I love her so much, and I love her mannerisms and just how she like doesn't know what's going on, but she knows what's going on, and I just love that. So, and I just and where Cal is now, at this point in the book, I can already see how it's going to connect to Dalinar and Adolin's point of views, and I am so excited for that to happen, because I think that the three of them would be phenomenal characters together, just to like see all in the same place. So I am just obsessed with this book. I truly, truly, truly did not think I would fall in love with the writing and the characters, and I I just have no words. Like I truly am flabbergasted with how much I care so much about these characters already. Like there was a scene with Kaladin, and he was making a decision that Syl definitely did not want him to go through with, and so she ended up pulling him back from that decision. And then his mentality like completely shifted, and he was like, you know what, you're right, like what the f am I doing? And now he's become the force of nature that we saw that he was in the first couple chapters. And it's just quite brilliant to see. And the fact that it was a Windspren that like made him feel this way and turned his mentality around is amazing to me. Like the fact that, because the Spren, like they're supposed to be like not knowledgeable beings, like they're just there. Like Windspren are there to like fly along in the wind, and there's fire spren that like pop up when there's a fire. There's anger spren that like just randomly pop up in midair when someone is angry, and like they have all these different spren. And but she's different. Like she has learned things, and she knows Kaladin's name, and she now knows that she has a name, and she understands death, and it's craziness to me. And to see like those characters, and then as well as to be in the scenes with Dalinar and Adolin. Dalinar is such a fantastic high prince. Like I just love being in his point of view, because he's so knowledgeable, and I feel like he just knows what needs to go on, and he loves his king, and he loves his sons, and he loves his country so much that with every sentence that I read in his point of view, like I just fall more in love with his character. And I just like love seeing how he interacts with the king. And like there was this whole fight scene, because Adolin and Rhaenyra and everyone's whole thing right now is that Dalinar is taking a back seat to fighting, and everyone's like very, because he used to be like I forget the nickname they gave him, if it was like the Black Knight or it was some name that they gave him. So everyone is so curious as to like what's going on in Dalinar's head, that he is not being the fighter that they know he is. But when you're in his head, like he's thinking about everything in such a political way now, and he's dealing with so much more than just the need to fight. And you actually see that in his point of view, like where he's kind of struggling sometimes to be the fighter that everyone knows he is, versus what he needs to be now in order to ensure that his nephew, the king, is as protected as possible, and that the kingdom stays as stabilized as possible, from when his brother got assassinated 6 years ago. And then you go to like Adolin's point of view, and his point of view is really interesting, because obviously he's a younger generation than Dalinar, and he only knows like the stories of his father. And so there's this one fight scene that ends up happening that was actually quite insane to read about. Like they're fighting a chasm fiend, and you see these, like, they whip out their shard blades and they're in their shard plate armor, and they have these magnificent horses, and just reading about these battle scenes is so insane to me. And like, when even during these battle scenes, like, you're just learning so much about these characters, like little tidbits of information. And I I've just grown to love these characters so much. And I just love being in every single one of their point of views at the moment. And every day I am so excited to either get to listen to, read, like, just get to be immersed in this book. And now I know why it's rated so highly on Goodreads, because I can definitely see this being a 5-star. And let me just tell you what, I am so excited that I went and I bought all those books on Kindle when they were on sale, because I can definitely tell that this could be a series that I could like want to like just keep going with. Even though they are very long, so I probably will read like a short book, in between here or there, but it's so good. So I just wanted to touch base, just kind of let you know the gist of what's going on at this point. We have Kaladin, who is dealing with what he's dealing with. Because he's just gone through such a life change. Like, he went from being a kid who was going to be a surgeon to, what is that called? What the heck is that called in the military? To being a squad leader, to then he becomes a slave, and then a bridgeman, and now he's just learning his passion for life again, and he's gonna make the most of his life and of his fellow bridgeman members' lives. Like, phenomenal. Brandon Sanderson is a freaking amazing author, and that is what I have to say about that. Hello, friends. So I look like a mess, and it's dark in here. It is like 9:30 at night. My cat just jumped in a box. Maze, come on now. So I have not filmed an update for The Way of Kings in a while. I honestly don't remember where I was. I think maybe like 50%, I'm assuming, was the last time I did a check-in. So I am currently page 716, 63% through chapter 46. Things are happening. I am loving this book. Loving. Loving. I love every single character. Like, I feel so connected to these characters. Like, I know something that's going to happen because they've talked about it, and we get flashbacks in part of the book for one of the characters, and I'm like so nervous to read about the thing that's going to happen because I already feel so connected to these characters that I feel like I'm just going to start sobbing, getting ready to feel the emotions. But I still have like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 400, 500 pages left, something like that. I think probably around 400. I think this book has like 1100 pages, and we are gonna get there, you guys. So anyways, so kind of what's happening without spoiling things. We are with Kaladin at this point and Shallan. These are the two POVs in this part we're getting. And I love being in Kaladin's POV. How he is, where he is at right now in the story is so interesting. Like, so many things have happened to him from where we first met him, like his journey of where he started, and we're getting flashbacks for him. He's the character we're getting flashbacks for. And so like you're getting his flashbacks, plus you're getting something that happened with him, and then you're just getting all these recurring events. And to me, it is just so intriguing to follow his story and get to see his journey, because he's only like 24 or 25, which is crazy to me, because when you read about how he has such strong like leadership skills and how he handles the things that he has to deal with, it is shocking that a 25-year-old can handle that. So I'm really enjoying reading about him and like this new life that he's kind of created for himself within such a situation of despair. If you've read the book, you kind of can understand what I'm saying, like how he's just created he's trying to create more purpose than what is expected of him. At this point, he's kind of in a role where he's like expected to die. Like that's kind of his job. And he's trying to bring a purpose back to his life and to the lives of his fellow like crew members. And with him, you know, seeing him interact with the Windspren, Syl, and the fellow crew members is honestly crazy. How he brought these people around and just his interactions with them just in general. I'm so interested. I can feel it in my head, and like I can see how some of these point of views are going to kind of intermingle. Like I feel like, because where Kaladin is at, he is in a similar, not the same, but a similar location to Dalinar and Adolin. So I'm assuming that at some point the three of them are gonna come together. And let me tell you what, those three would be unstoppable. Like just in my head, I am thinking of what a dynamic trio that would be. I just think that the three of those characters would be like phenomenal in a scene together, just because I even love just reading like Dalinar and Adolin together, and I love Kaladin obviously, so I just would love to see the three of them like interact in a scene together. Like I think that would be exciting, so I'm kind of hoping we get that before the end of the book, but who knows. So yes, so that's kind of where we're at with Kaladin. We're learning about his journey from even when he was a kid. Like I said, we're getting flashbacks, and we're told of a character in his life, something tragic happening. And so I'm kind of we're getting the flashbacks that I'm assuming are leading up to, you know, and I feel like it's very close. Like with the last flashback we just had, like I feel like this scene is like coming up, and I already know it's gonna like tear me apart, because this character is literally so sweet, and you only meet this character in the flashbacks, obviously, so you're only getting like these small glimpses and these small like interactions between this character and Kaladin, but their interactions are just so wholesome that it is just so special to like read about. And so I am so interested to just kind of see how it all kind of connects, how we're going to bring, you know, the past timeline to the present timeline and just kind of connect it all. So very much enjoying Kaladin's point of view as usual, despite how sad I'm sure it's going to be. It has just been truly amazing writing. Now as far as Shallan has finally done the whole task that she kind of came to Cabranth to do. You know, she became the ward of Jasna like she wanted to, and she completed the task that she needed to do in her head for her family. So now that that's completed, she's kind of at like an inner war. You know, she's like, I don't know what to do from here. And not only is she like kind of dealing with that, she is also dealing with, she met an ardent who is essentially like a religious being, and they've connected a lot. They talk very often, they spend a lot of time together, and they seem to have a really, really interesting bond. So I think that it's important. It's going to be important. Like, just where we're at in the story now with Shallan, Jasna, Brightness Jasna, and seeing now how she's kind of dealing with these feelings that she's having inside, because now that she's completed the task, she's like, I have like a couple of options. She's like, I really need to go home, but I really want to stay here and like learn more with Jasna. And I also like really enjoy my friendship and my connection with the Ardent. Now unfortunately, it seems like the Ardent's feelings are a little more intense than Shallan is feeling for him, but nonetheless, she respects his friendship and like absolutely adores him. And her big thing is drawing. Like, she is an amazing artist, and she's been drawing these sketches for everybody, but lately she's been having issues with these sketches, and she's been kind of drawing things that aren't there, and we just kind of got to a scene where things are kind of connecting, and you may kind of be finding out why she's drawing these things, but like that whole like is super interesting. So just kind of learning, and you're like learning through Jasna or through Shallan as well, because she is learning, you're learning from like information, because Jasna is the king's daughter, right? And so she's Dalinar's niece. So you're learning a lot about the assassination of the king, and you're just learning a lot about different things within the community, or different things within the world that Jasna is trying to teach Shallan. And so you're kind of like absorbing that, which is really interesting, because I find that that's a super interesting way to like kind of do some world building without it seeming like world building, because you're in your head, you're like, oh, well, Shallan's learning all this, so that's like super cool. It's kind of, instead of like info dumping, like it just seems like you're learning things like hands-on, like in first person, like, which is really, really cool. So I don't know if that was his intention when he wrote it like that, but that's kind of how I see it. Because like they're talking about, you know, things like the Voidbringers, the Knights of Radiant, the Heralds, and just religion in general, and then some like older worlds that they don't know if they actually exist, and how some things are like involved in the Cosmere and things like that. So I'm really enjoying like learning about things through Shallan. I'm hoping we get some more Dalinar and Adolin soon, because I love them. I'm very upset because I did see a spoiler, and I'm very upset about it. All I did was I literally went to Brandon Sanderson's Instagram and I followed him, and I was like looking through his pictures, and it was literally like the third picture in his like grid, and it was him and a woman, and I like looked at it. I'm not going to tell you what it said, but I like looked at it and I read the caption and I was like, what? Like, ma'am? I was very upset because it spoiled like two things. I don't know when they happen in the book, but they happen at some point, and I'm like, rude. So anyways, so that's kind of where we're at now. We're following Kaladin and Shallan. They are both moving and shaking in their world, and I'm excited to kind of just see how all the point of views are going to connect, because obviously, like, if Shallan chooses to stay with Jasna, then Jasna is obviously going to at some point go back to the war camps with her uncle and her cousin Adolin. And so then you know, if they're doing that, then Shallan is kind of going to be incorporated in Dalinar and Adolin's point of views. And then I'm interested because obviously Kaladin is in a situation where he could also intermingle with Dalinar and Adolin. So then they could all kind of be just like this fun little group, which seems very found family to me, and I love it. I just wanted to film a quick update because, like I said, I genuinely don't remember the last time that I like talked to the camera. I feel like it's been a little bit. I've just been kind of showing like little clips, like when I've hit certain like markers. I will check in with you guys when I am either further or finished or whatever, however I'm feeling. This next couple weeks are gonna be hectic. Christmas is coming up. We're having our Christmas party with my family and Victor's family on Saturday. So I'm gonna be super busy this weekend, and then next week is going to be a hectic week. Just dealing with some stuff in my personal life. So I'm just dealing with that next week. So luckily I have a nice series that I can kind of dive into because I think that I'm gonna start the second book after I finish the first one. Originally, I was like, oh, I'll take a break and I'll read something else. I want to try and read the second book. I think it's Words of Radiance. And then I'll read Iron Flame and Fourth Wing and then Onyx Storm. That's kind of my plan. So I will touch base with you guys hopefully soon and we can wrap this video up because I know it's probably getting long, but I will check you guys in the next clip. All right, guys, we're coming at you with crappy quality because it is dark. All I have for illumination are these lights and my TV. But I just finished the next section of interludes and I just hit part 4, which is page 802, 71% through. And I am so excited because the next POVs we're getting are Dalinar, Kaladin, and Adolin, and a new one, Navani. Oh my god, I am so freaking excited. Okay. I believe things are gonna be happening. This is not a fake. I'm excited. I'm like so excited. I don't even know words. This is Winnie, by the way. He's just chilling here with me. Oh my god. Okay, so I think that Dalinar, Kaladin, and Adolin finally because at the last, before the interludes, Adolin and Kaladin had an interaction. They had an interaction because one of one of Sadius's soldiers was being like rude to a woman, and Adolin got involved, and Adolin and Kaladin was standing there, and then Adolin was like, oh, go deliver a message for me, bridge boy, or whatever he called him, and then he like gave him money to do it, and then Kaladin never did it. Winnie's out of here. So yeah, so that was kind of their like first interaction. So I think that we're gonna get more interactions between them. Dalinar, we love his POV, and then Navani, who is the king's mother. So, and she is an interesting character because when she was with Dalinar, like when she's talking with Dalinar, like, I don't know, it's just all very interesting because apparently Navani was like pretty much going out with both Dalinar and Dalinar's brother, the king that was assassinated. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. Gavilar, maybe? But she was like going out with both of them, and they were both essentially like courting her, I guess, and then obviously she ended up choosing Gavilar. So like I'm sure still has like these feelings about her, and like it's his king's mother, and like so there's like all these like mixed emotions, and obviously he's dealing with everything he's dealing with these like I noticed that him and Kaladin are having the same dream-like states now when there's a high storm, which is interesting, and people are speaking to both of them like the Almighty is who they think it is. But I noticed that Kaladin just started happening to Kaladin, and so now Kaladin and Dalinar are both experiencing these things during high storms. And something I did notice is that the people that whoever they're with, either Dalinar or Kaladin, they hold them down because they're trying to go out into the high storm to, I'm assuming, be part more in depth with whatever they're the person that is talking to them is trying to tell them. So anyways, I just wanted to check in. Very abrupt check-in because I was not going to check in, but as soon as I saw we were getting all these POVs, I got very excited because that means I think everything's gonna kind of start to be intermingling. So I have part 4. I think there's one more set of interludes. Let's see. Nope. So there's part 4, part 5, and then the epilogue. So we're getting there, you guys. The interludes have been interesting. My favorite POVs in the interludes have definitely been the ones with Seth, the son, essentially the assassin that keeps killing everybody. His have been the most interesting, but I'm assuming everyone else's POV will make sense at some point. I don't know when, because I feel like we're getting like a lot of more like random POVs like thrown in throughout. I mean, so far, all of them have been pretty interesting. One of them was Shallan's older brother, which was interesting. But then there were just some other like random ones that I'm like, okay, well, they're obviously gonna like be involved somehow, but obviously we just don't know how yet. So that's been really interesting. But anyways, I just want to do a quick check-in and say I'm very excited because we are gonna hopefully get the connections that I think we're gonna get, and I'm very excited. So I will keep you guys posted when I get a little further in. Friends, another check-in with bad lighting and late at night, so that's great. So today is the 23rd. Merry Christmas Eve if you watch Friends. I am making progress in this book. I am on page 902, 79%, chapter 58, and I just finished such an interesting chapter. Part 4 has been really, really interesting. There was a battle scene with Sadius and Dalinar and Adolin, and seeing Dalinar and Sadius get along how they used to was so engaging and just such a breath of fresh air. Just seeing the two of them have each other's back, after Sadius, made the comment that he's trying to protect Dalinar, and, when the issue with King Elhokar came up about how King Elhokar thought someone was trying to kill him, and a lot of people were blaming Dalinar or someone in Dalinar's camp because he had control of like the horse, and it was the horse's saddle that broke and all this stuff. But Sadius asked to be in charge of, I think High Prince of Information, and to do all the investigating. And it turns out, Dalinar and Adolin thought that it was like a power move against Dalinar, but it ended up being Sadius was just really trying to protect Dalinar. It was like really interesting. So seeing them, finally decide like, okay, let's come together, let's do this. And they fought a plateau battle together. And they've been doing quite a few of them together. And it's been beneficial. And then, there was a scene where Dalinar had to like race across, the battlefield, and just like slice everyone, all the Parshendis down with his shard blade, and to protect Sadius because Sadius was overrun. And then all of a sudden Adolin kind of comes in, and just, I love these characters and just seeing them interact, so wholesomely. I just really, really enjoy it. And we just got this chapter. It's in Kaladin's point of view, and he's finally coming to realize that, there's something different going on with him. He doesn't understand what, like, besides the fact that he never gets hurt. Everyone else around him gets hurt, but nothing ever happens to him, even when he's like the front man running at the bridge. Arrows avoid him and he just doesn't get hurt. and come to find out that though they don't really know exactly what it is, but he ends up going on like a long walk and running into Wit, the king's wit. And there was just some really interesting quotes, which I inserted clips probably before this clip of those quotes that really just were so interesting and hit. They just hit, like they were really good quotes. And then we just reached the end of this chapter, and Teft is talking with Kaladin, and Teft seems to know more than like he lets on about things, about Kaladin's like situation, about how he's like sucking Stormlight out of like spheres, and just his overall strength and power, and like he was glowing. It was very interesting. And part of it, I guess, has to do with Syl, the Windspren, who's like not a Windspren. But there was just literally the last part of this chapter is them, they're sitting and talking, and Wit told Kaladin a story. And essentially it's about responsibility. Towards the end of the story, it was about this person who went to this island, and it was an island of a bunch of friendly people. But as soon as like you did one thing like out of line, like they killed you. And he was like so confused, and he was like, you guys are all like super nice, you agree on everything, so like why, if someone does one thing like out of character, do you kill them? And they were like, oh, the Emperor, pretty much saying that the Emperor like needs them to do it. But no one has like seen the Emperor in like years. So this man goes to the Emperor's tower and come to find out the Emperor's been dead for years. And so the entire city devolves into chaos, because now all these people are realizing, are you kidding me? Like, we've been putting the responsibility of all these murders on the Emperor, saying the Emperor needs us to do it, the Emperor wants us to do it. But really now the responsibility is on themselves, because the Emperor wasn't there. He never specifically told them to do it. They were taking the action into their own hands. And so now, they're talking about, now Kaladin and Teft are talking about Kaladin's responsibility, because he's kind of taken over the entirety of Bridge 4 in such a remarkable way. He truly is such an inspirational, like, leader, and it's just really interesting because he's like 25. So he's talking to Teft, and he goes, what do you know and how do you know it? And Teft says, when I was a youth, my family belonged to a secret sect that awaited the return of the Radiance. I quit when I was just a youth because I thought it was nonsense. So then Kaladin says, how much do you know about what I can do? And Teft says, not much, just legends and stories. Nobody really knows what the Radiance can do. And Kaladin smiled and said, well, we're gonna find out. So I am like so excited, because I'm like, okay, so is Kaladin a Radiant, like a Knight of Radiant? Like, what is going on? I'm excited. We're on page, like I said, 902. And I am quite literally, I have like about 200 and some odd pages left. And I'm living for this book. I love this book so much. It's late. It's like almost midnight. I'm off tomorrow. I'm actually off the rest of the week. Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then I have some personal stuff going on the latter half of the week. So I'm off for the rest of the week. So I'm going to try to get some reading in, because we did our Christmas stuff over the weekend. Me and my husband are pretty much, I'm going to have, the next 2 days to pretty much just like be home, read, and chill, since I don't really have to go do too much. We are going to go to my dad's tomorrow for Christmas Eve, just to get dinner and see my grandmother and just hang out and probably play some games. So I might put some clips of that. And this video is for sure going to be very long. But I think I'm fine with it, because I love this book so much that I think it deserves a very long video. So that's just how that's going to be. But yeah, so that's the update for now. I'm 79% through. So we are getting there, guys. And this book deserves all the hype that it gets. Like, that's literally all I need to say. And it's crazy because I feel like not too much stuff has like happened. Like, I feel like at this point, like, we're still just kind of getting bits and pieces of like everyone's story. But man, these freaking characters, the way they are written, this book just like sucks you in. Obsessed. So I'll keep you guys posted when I have more to say. But yeah, loving it, loving where it's going. The one thing that I did want to make note of that I'm pretty upset about is the fact that Tien, who is Kaladin's younger brother, they gets called into the army. And so Kaladin goes with him. That's how Kaladin kind of goes off his path of being a surgeon, because he's like, I need to protect my younger brother. And so apparently Tien ends up getting killed during the war, but we don't ever see it on page, which I'm kind of upset about because, I mean, at least so far we haven't seen it on page. And I don't think we're going to, because the last time jump was a year back when Kaladin first became a slave, and we find out like how that whole happened, which, wow, boy, was that an effed up situation. No wonder why he can't stand light eyes, especially ones that like he thinks are good, because Amaram is a piece of garbage. And that whole situation was just so effed. Don't even get me started on that. Like, Amaram, oh my god, piece of crap. Anyways, so that was the last time jump that we had, which is after Tien died, but before all this. So I don't know if we're gonna see Tien dying on page. I was kind of expecting to, because I feel like it's going to be a very emotional time, you know, to read about, but it hasn't happened yet. So good morning, you guys. So today is the 29th, and it is past Christmas. We are barreling into the new year. Something I need to say, Sadius is trash. I love how, like, I'm pretty sure in the previous clip I was like, oh my god, I love Sadius. Trash. And Kaladin is, I love Kaladin. Anyways, just a quick update. So I quite literally barely have read. I was going through some personal stuff the day after Christmas, pretty much. Even, you know, continuing into today. But today I'm feeling a little bit better. So I'm hoping to get some reading done. I don't think I've like picked up my book pretty much at all, which is unfortunate because I love reading. But sometimes when you can't focus and you can't get comfortable, you just can't pick up a book. At least that's how I am. Especially because I'm towards the end. So I want to be able to like really enjoy it. So I am currently on page 1017, 90% through, and I'm on chapter 67. I'm still in part 4. I think I'm like finishing up part 4 soon. And you guys, it is so good. I am quite literally obsessed with these characters. They make me feel the emotions. But like I said, so Sadius is trash. So I can't remember where I left off because I literally filmed that last clip the day before Christmas Eve. So it's been almost a week. So I don't remember what exactly I was talking about, but I know that I was talking about how like Sadius, Dalinar, and Adolin like were teaming up, and they've been teaming up for a while now. They've been going on bridge runs or assault runs together to the plateaus, you know, because Dalinar wants to try to like build up the army. So they've been doing that for like a while now, and Kaladin has been building up his bridge team. I mean, they are phenomenal. They've got like armor, but he's obviously getting worried because, you know, he's afraid that, you know, they're dwindling. I mean, people are getting hurt, and now they're like a family. But we learned that Kaladin has some interesting powers. He may be a radiant. I think I talked about that part of it. And how he is like able to like absorb stormlight through the, the spheres, kind of like that assassin. And a lot of arrows will like avoid him, and he has like all these like kind of abilities that they're trying to like figure out because they don't really know what's going on. So yeah, so they're still going into battle, and then we get to this really, really big battle scene, and it is Dalinar, Adolin, and Sadis's, their armies, and they're like, all right, we're gonna take all the bridge teams. It's one of the biggest assaults. We should be able to kill a 1/3 of the Parshendi army, and we could end this war. So how they do it is Sadis's team goes out first because they're quicker, and then Dalinar's team is like the muscle. So, Sadis's team is out there, and then Dalinar's team is coming, and then all of a sudden Dalinar's fighting, killing, and he notices Sadis is like, he's out of there, and he's taken all of his bridges and literally leaving Dalinar's army stranded on this giant plateau, and they can't get off because they don't have any freaking bridges, because Sadis ordered all of his bridges to go, and because Sadis told him, we'll just use all my bridges, we don't need any of your like whatever, his Chol pulled bridges, because they're so slow, we'll just use my bridgemen, it'll be fine. So then Kaladin and his team notice this happening, and Kaladin is like, are you effing kidding me? Because Dalinar did save Kaladin's life and the team during when some Parshendi were attacking him. So, he's like kind of going back and forth, and he's like, is this going to be like what it was with High Prince Amaram? Because, or I don't know if Amaram was a High Prince, but with Amaram, because of everything that happened with that, when he stole Kaladin's shard plate and like killed all of his like mate. Kaladin killed a shard bearer in battle, but didn't want the shard plate or the shard blade, so he gave it to one of his fellow crew members. And then Amaram took all of them into his tent, killed every single member, and took the shard plate and the shard blade from the person that Kaladin gave it to. So now he has it. And the whole story is now that this is how he got sent to slavery, because Amaram marked him as a slave. No one's going to believe what you have to say. And he sent him to be a slave because he's like, you did save my life, but F you. So he sent him to be a slave. And then Amaram's whole story is that like he killed the shard bearer. So, and they're like, no one's gonna believe a lowly slave, so I don't really care that you're alive, good luck. But little does he know, our lovely Kaladin is more than just a lowly slave, bro. So anyways, so he's worried that Dalinar, even though he shows these positive attributes, that he's just like Amaram. So, but they decide, this is where I'm at in the book right now, they decide, Kaladin's like, you know what, we could escape, because he's talking to their new person in charge of all the bridge crews, and they have enough bridges for the whole army to get across, and Kaladin has like all the wounded. So he's like, oh, we're just gonna come slowly. And the guy's like, well, what happens if something happens? Like, what if something eats you? And Kaladin's like, and the guy's like, yeah, you're right. And he like leaves them. So they were like, this is the perfect opportunity for us to like fake our own death. So as they're like trying to work that out, Kaladin is noticing that Dalinar's men are being surrounded, and like this whole battle is going to shit. So Kaladin says, we're gonna go help. And so now we are gonna get the moment when Kaladin, Dalinar, and Adolin are gonna team up. I am so excited. So I'm very excited to like get into this part of the book. I have like 100 pages left, and I should be able to finish today. Like I said, I've really been like wanting to finish this for a couple of days now. I just have not been able to, which is a bummer. We'll update you guys. I probably won't talk to the camera again until the end. I know I keep saying that, and then but so much stuff keeps happening, and I'm just obsessed. So, so I honestly don't know. I really want to continue the next book after I finish this, just while it's like fresh in my mind. But the books are so long that I'm like, should I've been buying a couple of books on Kindle store, like when they're having their deals. So I'm like, should I read like a smaller book in between? Like, or should I just do it? You know, should I just like jump in? So I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. We'll see how this book ends, because maybe I'll want to just jump in. But anyways, I will keep you guys posted, and I will check you guys in the next clip. Hello, friends. This is going to be my final update because I have finished The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I have finished this chunker of a book. 5 stars, 100% 5 stars. I would give it 6 stars if I could give it 6 stars. This is easily one of my favorite books of the year. The ending of this, after I last talked to you guys, so many things came to light about the void bringers and how the Parshendi are void bringers and how they can all like intercommunicate, the Parshmen and the Parshendi that are fighting out in the battlefield. And so as soon as they kind of find what flips them from being the enslaved Parshmen they have versus the Parshendi that fight, like the Parshmen do everything. They take care of their kids, their food, their everything. So as soon as they find that thing that like flips that switch, it's like the Parshmen can take over everything, and that is like terrifying. And we learned some really interesting things. Shallan and Jasna are working together again, thank God, because I love the two of them together. I'm putting down this book because it's heavy and I don't feel like holding it, but I am so excited that they are working together again. And the fact that Jasna can soul cast without the soul caster is crazy, and apparently Shallan can do it too. So that is just really cool, and I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. And I'm noticing a lot of similarities between Seth, the Truthless, the assassin, and Kaladin and his abilities. And so I'm so interested to kind of see, because they are going to interconnect, their POVs are going to interconnect, because Seth was just tasked with killing Dalinar. Hashtag sad. And so I think we're going to get to see like Kaladin and Seth like battle each other. And I think that is going to be a wicked cool fight scene. So just all in all, so good. I mean, there's so much information towards the end of this book that we're getting. It ends up being that those visions that Dalinar is getting, they're like how he describes it as so he finds out it is the Almighty. And it's like a journal that he is seeing versus reading. So it's like whenever the person in the visions is talking to him, they're not talking to him. They know that they're talking to someone, but they don't know who it is. They're just not like Dalinar was like, oh, you're giving me these like crap answers, but he was never answering Dalinar's questions directly. He was just like talking to nobody, to whoever, was chosen to get these visions. So that's really interesting. And you find out that he was killed by, I think the name is Odium, and Odium came up before when Kaladin had his visions, and he asked Syl about Odium, and she like freaked out. So very interested to find out who Odium is, and how he's like involved and how he killed the Almighty. I mean, that's kind of insane. And then at the end of the book, we get the epilogue, which is a chapter in the Wit's point of view. And that is like wild, because he's just sitting there spewing his rhetoric, and a giant shard bearer like breaks through, and it ends up being one of the heralds, which is like insane. But the cool thing is that Dalinar did get Kaladin and all of the bridge members. He ended up giving up his shard blade to Sadeas, which is crazy. But he ended up giving Sadeas the shard blade for all of the bridgemen, and he's freeing them all. They can either choose to stay and fight, or they can be free men, which is so cool. And he's giving Kaladin all this opportunity. You know, he wants Kaladin and his main crew to be his honor guard that guards him and his, you know, Adolin and his family, because him and King Elhokar are going to be doing something crazy, which I am so excited to read about. They're going to be doing what Dalinar suggested a while back, where he is going to be named High Prince of War, and he is going to be in charge of all the wars and all the high princes, like battalions, and he's going to be training everyone from the ground up, and every single army is going to be living by the codes and, like I said, training from the ground up. So I'm so excited to see where this series goes. I 100% am going to be continuing. I think I'm actually going to pick up the second book very, very soon, maybe even today. I'm just obsessed. It's so, so good. Definitely worth the read. If you're at all interested in fantasy, I never thought I would be able to read an epic fantasy, but holy cow, amazing. So I definitely couldn't recommend this book enough. Just being these characters, they just take over your mind. Even when I wasn't reading, all I was thinking about doing was reading this book. The audiobook was really great, and I'm just very excited to continue the series. So overall, absolutely loved it. And off the top of my head right now, I can't think of anything there is like that happened that I would change. I mean, right now, it was just such a phenomenal book. And we did end up getting that scene, you know, with Tien that I wanted to read about. And that was very sad. I definitely did tear up. But overall, amazing. Cannot wait for the next book. And I have nothing else to say. This vlog is going to be very, very long because, again, it's a thick book and I did want to give my thoughts on it. As a girly who has never read an epic fantasy before and was venturing into her first epic fantasy, definitely recommend it if you have any interest. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will check you guys in my next video.